Welcome to the dynamic learning hub of XLR at Andheri East. A prime spot conveniently located at just a 5-minute walk from LIC Andheri Metro. In our journey of over a decade, we have proudly trained over 2 lakh students. We have also been recognized by Deloitte, Silicon India, and other accreditation bodies. Experience learning like never before in our spacious and comfortable classrooms. With high-definition projectors and state-of-the-art acoustics in place, we ensure effective learning even to the farthest point in the room. A hybrid mode is a game changer as you can enjoy the benefits of a live classroom from the comfort of your home. Even if you happen to miss any classroom session, you can still attend the same session with the same trainer at the same time at your convenience, maintaining consistency in your learning progress. Wanna get started? Join us for a demo or career chat over a cup of coffee at our Andheri branch. XLR. We don't just train, we build careers.
నమస్కారం అండి.
Yes, so the collaboration with XLR was an excellent one. We conducted a Power BI workshop with Advanced Excel over a span of 3 days. The workshop was almost 12 hours long in total. Mr. Karthik, who was an amazing trainer, helped the students understand the concepts deeply. I am sure that the students will be able to apply these concepts in their careers as well as their daily lives.
The trainer, Mr. Karthik, was an excellent person, where he explained in very detailed manner on how to give great insights using very complex data sets.
So it was a machine learning workshop. We learned a lot from the course, and it was a great experience attending the workshop.
The trainer was very helpful. He had a hands-on approach with his teaching, and it was fabulous.
This was a great experience for me. So I would absolutely love it if XLR and its team would come again to our campus and conduct more events like this.
It was a great course, and it started from basics and took me to a great extent.
The experience of the workshop was really nice. The feedback from all the students was positive. They understood the concept. The workshop was also practical based with some questions. The experience with XLR was very smooth. They helped us in conducting the workshop smoothly, right from the booking of the vendor and deciding the course till the distribution of certificates. In overall, this workshop was a success during our Technical Fest Atmos, and I thank XLR for being a part of it.
was very much interested in learning digital marketing course for a very long period of time, but I don't get a proper platform. So later from our college, I get to know about XLR and I enrolled in XLR course. It was really good experience. Our course has been taken by Mayur sir, and he was very good teacher. He not only focusing on theory part, he is doing how real digital marketing works, and it was in total very good experience. I get so much of knowledge. Here they're not only focusing on study, they're also conducting different exams to test our knowledge, and as we are giving the exam, so to appreciate our work, they give certificates for the toppers, and along with the certificate they give hampers. Thank you, XLR.
Recently, I was searching for digital marketing courses online in Google, and I came across XLR, and I attended a digital marketing course which was for 15 days. My mentor Mayur helped me for attending these classes. So he is a very informative and helpful guy. In the course end, there is a exam which I topped, so I came to the XLR office in Bengaluru. This digital marketing course has helped my career and my skills to develop, and the certificate has helped my company to join. Thank you, XLR.
I came to know about this course from my college. Actually, for learning platform, this is very nice, and I learned from here ChatGPT and AI from online. Because he's teaching for me for AI generative and ChatGPT. We are using this technology in more. And after finishing the courses, I came from for collecting the certificate. I seen the classrooms and faculties. Classroom is very nice. After the completion of exam, they will give.
Good evening, all. Students, today participants are very less. Kindly ask your friends to join the session. Okay, we will start for the day. Roshit sir, you can take over the class.
Yeah, sure. Students, can you ask your friends to join quickly so that we can start in next 2 minutes? Please remind your friends to join quickly so that we can start it in next 2 minutes so that they will not be missing anything, something important. So we'll be discussing so important concepts today. So please ask your friends to join quickly. Sharing my screen. In the meantime, please ask your friends to join fast quickly. With much energy. Everyone, very good evening, guys. So how is your day went? How is your Good Friday went? I think most of you have an all day today, I guess, right? So how is it went? Good evening, Minal. Good evening, Sandhya. Good evening, everyone. Did you have a good practice today? So since it's an all day. Yes, I've gone through all the GitHub notes and the code snippets what were discussed until yesterday. We have a practice session today, at least on your all day. Yes. Good evening, Lavanya. Good evening, Shravan. Good evening, Vidya. Okay. So can I get a quick heads up of what is discussed on the day 3? Can I get a quick response from your sides on a quick recap, basically? So what is discussed yesterday? Yes, exception handling, 7 implementation classes in Java. Okay, so what are those 7 implementation classes? I did not get you. Sarumati. Data structures, yes, correct, Sanya. Hashing, yes, we have discussed hashing. How hashing works? How hashing works? Basically, we have discussed yesterday, right? So we'll have a hash function. Once I give the data to the hash function, based on the hash function, index will be generated, right? So index of the hash table, like the index is nothing but a bucket index, will be generated based on the bucket index. The data will be stored there. And when multiple data needs to be stored in the same bucket, what will happen, guys? What will happen in the case when multiple data need to be stored in the same bucket? What will be happening? Yes, arrays also we discussed. Yes, linked list also we have discussed. Yes. There happens a hash collision, right? So in each bucket, I can store only one data, right? Only one quantity of data I can store. Yes. So that collision will be happening. I can resolve that collision using linked list. Like I can put the reference of the linked list there. I can put all the data, the multiple data in the linked list nodes, right? Otherwise, I'll be giving other formula, other hash function. I will generate it up. From there, I will generate the another index, right? So that we have discussed. Yes. Then what we have discussed more. Did you go through the notes as well in the link in the GitHub notes and your coding snippets? What we have done yesterday. Yes, oops concepts. Yes. How to download notes? Like you can directly go to the GitHub link. So what I have shared, the GitHub link, you can directly go. Then you can see here on the what is our repository. In this repository, Project Excellence CDL batch. So here you will be having your session notes, right? Here you will be having your session notes folder. So if you can see, you have your session notes folder. And if you go inside this folder, we have the notes accordingly, like day 1, day 2, day 3. So in these notes, like if I go to the day 3 notes, yesterday notes, if I go here, then if you can see, you have a download option. You'll have a download option here. Directly, you can download it up. It will be downloaded inside your downloads folder. So from there, you can put it in some folder in your local system. Okay, you can read it up from here as well. Otherwise, directly download it up. It will be downloaded. Clear? Clear, Simba Prasada? Yes. I will provide the link once again for the chat. You can also download the project directly. If you want, you can also download the project directly. Like suppose if you can say, if you wanted to download this, if you wanted to download the student management system, directly go inside here. Then you will have a thing here, like here you will have an option. For you, you will be getting an option like download as zip here in the right side. For me, this since it's my repository, I'm not getting an option here. But for you, you'll be getting as download as zip here, as a zip file. Directly, you can download it as a zip file. Okay, the download section you'll be getting in the right side. Okay, so like that you can download it, right? Like that you can download. Okay, if you want to download the whole project also, you can download it up directly by going inside here, and then you'll be getting on the right side download as zip file. You can download like that. Okay, so now I'm asked you to do something yesterday, right? One installation. What is that installation? Installation of your MySQL, right? Everyone did it, did that? Yes. In your local system? Dana? Okay. Okay. Great. Great. Good. Good, Lavanya. Okay. If everyone is done with that MySQL installation, I will directly go into the day 4 agenda. That is today's agenda. That is the first concept that we'll discuss is database and SQL. Then we'll go with JDBC. Then I'll be moving into Hibernate. Then I'll be moving into servlets and JSP. And then I will also discuss the Spring Boot things. And then I will make a folder structure of e-commerce app, which we'll be doing in the next class. Like the whole e-commerce backend we'll be completing in the next class. But we'll make our folder structure ready in the today's class. Okay, so these things I'll be doing. And I also have an exciting project for you, like that I'll be discussing in the today's class. So like a student management app, I will be discussing like with a UI. So where in the previous class, I've discussed it on the console, right? So today I'll be discussing the student management app using servlets and JSP in today's class using the UI part. Okay, using the UI part, not the console. Sorry, I got disconnected due to my bandwidth of internet. Okay, so I will where I am. Sorry with me, guys. Are you able to hear me? Okay. Okay. So I'll be discussing this project by the end of this session using servlets and JSP. So basically, this is a student management app where there are like multiple students added. You can edit that student option as well. Like if you can edit that option, like you want to Stravia to some Lavanya, I'm changing it. You can also edit that option, and you can also put the skill as Java itself. You can also do it up, and then you can also add up the students as well. You'll get an UI, a beautiful UI with add student, and then you have a form here where you, if you wanted to, if you're going it, I will go with which name, Sandhya. Okay, so if I am going with this name, and then Sandhya got 98 marks, and the skill is Java. Okay, directly I can do it up. Okay, then if I wanted to edit also, you can edit it up. You'll get edit student tab, and then you'll be getting if I wanted to change from Spring Boot, I can also update it up actually. And then if I wanted to delete, you can delete it up actually. So basically the CRUD app I'm doing, retrieving the students and editing the students, updating the students, as well as deleting the student, as well as adding the student. Okay, so this is like basically the student CRUD app. I've done it. on the web app. So I will be discussing this project as well by the end of the session. Okay, so let's jump into the first concept, that is database and SQL. So can I get a quick answer? What is database? What is database? Can I get a quick answer on the chat box? What is database? Why we require database? In the first session, I have discussed like this, the advantages of database or file system, right? Yes, collection of related data, or it's a container where we store the permanent storage. It's a permanent storage kind of system, right? Yes, it is a software, correct? Correct, to store multiple huge amount of data, permanent storage. If I wanted to obtain from the system, I can go with the database, right? So basically, the data organization will be good, the permanent storage, and easy to access from anywhere else I can access. Suppose in your Google Drive, you have uploaded some item, you can retrieve that item in your laptop also, in your GitHub only. You can retrieve this GitHub URLs or GitHub account in your mobile also, in your laptop also, in another system also, anywhere you can. Once it is uploaded to the server, you can directly upload it where the data is stored. Here also there will be a database. In the database, all this data will be stored, right? So that like that, I can go with the database. Okay. So and it can also be secure. We can also put this credentials to database. Like I suppose you have installed your database MySQL, right? So while installing MySQL, I asked you to set your password. Like everyone set it up, guys. Everyone did that setup, password setting of your MySQL. Yes, is it done? Did you remember your password? Did you remember your password? Yes. Please remember your password so that while doing the project, please paste the same password. Okay. So these are the advantages of your database. So to interact with the database, I have a language called SQL, which is nothing but structured query language, where I'll be writing the queries. I'll be interacting with database. So how you're interacting with the Java? You're writing your Java instructions, right? You're writing your Java code. Through that language, you are interacting with your compiler, your JDK. And then JVM is executing your code, then you're getting the output on the screen, right? In the same way, to interact with the database, we have a special language called SQL, that is structured query language. Yes. So we have multiple databases over there. Like databases are also divided into two types, that is SQL databases, that is NoSQL databases. If you remember in the first session, I have discussed. So SQL, in the sense, the data will be arranged in the form of tables. Okay, the data will be arranged in the form of tables, which is nothing but rows and columns. The data will be arranged in the form of rows and columns. You'll have a heading of the column, like a student table or something, ID, name, and your skill or something. Like you'll have a data there, and then each row is nothing but your data to that column. Okay. So we have our rows and columns in SQL database. I can also call this SQL database as relational database. Okay, relational database. Then NoSQL database. NoSQL database is also called as non-relational database. Okay, where the data will be stored in the form of JSON format. Okay, JSON format. Okay, JSON format, in the sense you will have just the JSON object. So JavaScript object notation. So you'll have a curly braces here, and then you'll be having multiple data here. So if you can see, like suppose the first student is here, I'll be arranging like this. So I'll be arranging like this in the, so this is your ID, and the student name is something Lavanya, I'm putting it up. Okay, then colon, then marks, then something 100, then colon, then skill. Like that, you can add multiple students, or you can like here it cannot be structured. This is not a structured thing. You can add Java here, and then you can add other things as well, occupation or something, other things as well. You can do it up as well. And then the next data, if you wanted to put, you can put the next data, comma separated. Okay, comma separated, and you can change the values, something like Swati. Okay, then I'm putting something like 90. Here occupation is not there for that student. Then I can put it as empty, right? Then I can put it as empty. Here there are 4 columns, but for here like occupation is some student. Okay, So here I don't want to put the occupation for the student. I can also do that because here there are 4 columns. Here there can be 3 columns. It can be the columns can vary. Suppose I discussed yesterday, right? Like your Facebook post or your Instagram post. Who is introvert? They can put very little posts. Who is extrovert? They can put more number of posts. In that case, you need to go with the where the data is fluctuating or where there is no structure for the data. You can go with the non-relational database. So there comes your MongoDB or Cassandra DB like that. Okay. So here this is nothing but a students table or something like audience table or participants table you can think of. So this is nothing but your non-relational or NoSQL database. Okay. So clear with the SQL and non-relational databases, right? So to yesterday you have installed relational database or non-relational database. What do you have installed, students? What do you have installed? Non-relational or relational? DBMS. You have installed relational, which is nothing but table form. Okay. So MySQL database you have installed. So that relational database only I will be discussing here. So the operations that can be performed on databases, basically will perform only the 4 operations on the database. That is CRUD-based operations, CRUD, create, read, update, delete. Okay. So I will create the table. I will read from the table. I will update the table. I will delete from the table. I will delete the data from the table. So all the CRUD operations will be performed inside your database. So basically there were like 4 sets of commands are there. So like there were like 3 sets of commands majorly used, and there were like other 2 sets of commands are there, which are called as SQL commands. So first one is DDL. In the DDL, in the sense data definition language commands. In DDL we'll have create, alter, drop, truncate. So create is used for creating a table as well as database. Alter is used for altering the updating the rows. So basically changing the structure. Suppose you have named it as skill, and again you are changing it to skills, or you named it as you named the column name as name. You are changing it to first name. So like that, if you wanted to modify the column names, modify the structure of your columns, you can go with the alter. Or if you wanted to add or delete the columns of your table, you can go with the alter command. Okay. Then drop. Drop is used for dropping the data from the table. The old data from the table will be dropped. Okay. And truncate will drop the data from the table along with the schema also will be deleted. So when the schema, in the sense, the structure of the table will also be deleted. This drop will only delete the data from the table, but it will not delete your table. The schema it will not delete, but truncate will delete everything. The schema also will be deleted. Okay. So then DDL command and then DML commands, data manipulation language commands. We have 3 commands: insert, update, delete. Insert is used for inserting data into table. Update is used for updating the data. Delete is used for deleting the data. Deleting a single row, not multiple rows. We will have a where condition to delete multiple rows. Okay. Then we have a DCL command, that is to give permissions to the data or to revoke the permissions from the data. I can go with grant or revoke. Then we have TCL commands to commit or rollback. Suppose you're working with the transactions, you're saving something. See, in your GitHub, you're committing all the files at once. Git commit -m. You're passing some message. Means all the changes that you've made in the local now will be pushed into the GitHub, right? Then if you're suppose you're rollbacking, you can also roll back the changes, right? So rollback in the sense all the changes will be unsaved, means undo, right? So that will be done. Then we have our DQL command, that is select. Okay, select is used for retrieving the rows in the table. Okay, for retrieving the rows in the table, we have our select command as. Okay, so for selecting your data. Okay, so now what I will be like. So see here, if you can observe, you can create the database using this thing, create database XLR. Then we have our show databases, means it will show all the databases. You can use the database, and then you will be going with the creating the table or inserting the table like that. Okay. So now what I will be doing, I will go here. I will open up my MySQL. So MySQL workbench. Okay. So once you go to the MySQL workbench, So just search in the Google search case. Once you have installed the MySQL, just search in your Windows search and open up that MySQL workbench. Then go inside this MySQL connection, give your password. So give what password you have set it up. That password, please give it up there. And 123. Okay. So then the editor will open. Okay, I'm going with the new editor. Okay, I'm going with the new editor. So here you can create the database. So what type of command you need to run? So if you type show databases, it will show all the databases that were there inside your system, inside your MySQL DBMS. Okay, then I will execute this up. Select the command and execute it up. Then see here, there are like multiple databases were there in my system. There were like multiple databases were there in my system. Now I will be creating one database, that is create database XLR. Okay, create database XLR. XLR, fine. I'll be using XLR projects so that it will be constant. Okay, then you can select this up and execute it up. Okay, then the database will be created. You can see the logs as well here. See, create database XLR projects has been created. One row separated means the database is successfully created. Then if you can use this command to show, you can show it up. Okay. Now inside this XLR project, I'll be going with the creation of your student table. Okay. So now what I'll be doing, I will directly move here. I will create a student table. I will insert a couple of values as well. Okay. So how you will be creating the table? Create table, your table name, and then you have your multiple columns, student ID, student name, and marks. This is for creating your table. Okay. So I'm going with the marks, I'm going with the student name, I'm going with the student ID. Okay, then I'm inserting a couple of students into this. So what students I will insert? I will insert and then I will be inserting. If you wanted to insert multiple values, you can go with the braces here. Okay, then I'll be inserting some 2, and then I'll be inserting some Ravi. Okay, then the marks is some 95. Then Ravi, then 90. I'm inserting the other student name, that is 3, Lavanya. Okay, then some 89. Okay, so these are the students I wanted to insert. Okay, I will make a primary key as well. The student ID, I want it to be primary key. So for that reason, I'm putting up here the side itself. I'm putting it as primary. Okay, so I will execute these 2 commands now. Do it parallelly, guys, if you can do. Okay, so select the database. I need to select the database first. So there are like couple of multiple databases are there in my system. So which database you wanted to create this table? You need to select the database. How you will be selecting the database? Use the database name. So my database name is XLR projects. So the database I'll be using it. Okay. So now I'll be running it up. Use. Okay. I'll be creating the table of student. Okay. The table is created. Then I'll be inserting the values. What is the thing? Student ID fine, student name fine. Then I wanted to insert marks as well, right? So marks. Okay, you need to insert the column names and then values. And then if you're inserting all the values at once, all the column data at once, you did not, it's optional, guys. If you can put column names, it's okay. Or you cannot put column names also, it's okay. Okay. If you don't put also, it's okay. I wanted to put it up and then I will insert this up. Okay, Now I will retrieve the things. Then what I'll be doing, select star from student table. Okay, this is case insensitive guys. So you can put it as capital or small. It seems to be same. Okay, but Java is case sensitive, but this SQL is case insensitive. Okay, so now if you can see on the console. Okay, so all the data is been inserted now. Okay, the 3 students data is been inserted. I'm inserting the student table, all these things. So all the data is been inserted now. Now what I'll be doing, so now the table is being ready and the data is also ready. Now what I'll be doing, I will write a program from Java. I will not retrieve from here. Okay, I will not retrieve from here. I will interact with the database directly from Java itself. Okay, from my Eclipse itself, I wanted to interact with the database. So in that case, if you wanted to interact with the database from your Java application, or you wanted to retrieve all the data inside your Java application itself, what is there in the database, you wanted to interact with the database totally from your Java application, then we have a specific concept in Java, that is JDBC. Okay, we have a specific concept, that is JDBC. JDBC stands for Java Database Connectivity. Okay, Java Database Connectivity. Okay, so yes, yes, Sanchit, like you can also put it as all the small letters are capital letters. It's fine. Okay, so because it is case insensitive, you can also go with that actually. Okay, so JDBC stands for Java Database Connectivity. To interact with the Java application, to interact with the database basically from the Java application itself, I will go with the concept called JDBC in Java. So it is a technology basically where we can interact with the database, where we can interact directly with the MySQL or SQL, your database. Basically, if you wanted to insert, if you wanted to interact with your Excel or projects database directly from your Java application, you can do with the concept called JDBC. JDBC stands for Java Database Connectivity. So JDBC is a technology which is used to communicate with the database from Java application. Okay, so if you can see here, I have a picture. So if you can see here from Java application, I will interact with the database. I will interact with the database. So what I'll be doing, I will directly draw it on the paper. So basically, what is JDBC is? JDBC stands for Java Database Connectivity. So if you wanted to interact with database from your Java application, you can use this technology. There is a specific concept in Java, a technology in Java to connect with the database from Java application. Okay. So see here, this is your Java application. Suppose this is your student management app. Okay, this is your student management app. Okay, so this is your database. This is your database. In this database, you are having your student table. Okay, you have created your student table. Now, if you wanted to insert another row into the student table from your Java application itself, from your Eclipse itself, you wanted to interact with the database, or you wanted to retrieve the data, or you wanted to update the data from your Java application itself. So how you can do that? I have told you there is a technology called JDBC. But this Java application, which language it will understand this? Which language it will understand? Whether it will understand SQL, is that possible? Whether it will understand SQL, is it possible? Is it possible? Whether this Java application understands SQL, is it possible? No, no, yes, correct, correct. So what it will understand? It will understand only Java, right? This database, whether it will understand Java, is it possible? Whether it will understand Java, is it possible? No, no. Okay. So what it will understand? What it will understand? What it will understand? It will understand only SQL, right? SQL instructions only it will understand. So this Java application will understand only Java instructions. This DB will understand only SQL instructions, right? So if they wanted to communicate, now what I am telling, this Java application needs to communicate with database, and this database should communicate, should give the response, right? So suppose I want the student data, it should send the request. I want the student data, and this database should send the response by giving the data, right? Means there should be a communication happening between them. So for that communication happening, there is a concept JDBC I have told. But if you see the language, this understands only Java instructions. This Java application understands only Java instructions. This database will understand only SQL instructions. It will not understand Java instructions. So what will happen now? In between your Java application and your database, there will be one interpreter in between. There will be one some translator in between, which will translate this Java instructions to SQL instructions, SQL instructions to Java instructions. Okay, that mediator or the translator only I will call it as driver. Okay, that mediator or the translator only I will call it as DB driver or driver. Okay, so what it will do means, this once you are giving a query from here, or once you are giving some Java instruction from here, this driver will take the Java instructions, it will extract the query from it, it will convert into SQL, and then it will enter the database. Then it will take up the data, it will convert it into Java instructions, and it will give it back to you. So means it will this driver will convert this Java instructions to SQL instructions, SQL instructions to Java instructions. So that is the main function. So who will convert, sir? If you ask me in JDBC, the driver is the main hero who will convert, who will make the communication happen between the Java application and the database. Clear until this point? Yes. So what is driver is clear until this point? Yes. So JDBC is a technology which is used to communicate with, from Java application to database, and from database to Java application. Whereas driver will convert as a translator, where it will convert this Java instructions to SQL instructions to Java instructions. So there were like 4 types of drivers are there. There are like 4 types of drivers are there. Okay. So type 1, type 2, type 3, and type 4 drivers are there. The names are type 1, type 2, type 3, and type 4. Okay. So majorly in the industry, so there, which driver will be used, sir, if you ask me? Type 4 driver will be used. Why type 4 driver means it is easy to connect, it is easy to collaborate as well. So for that reason, we have a type 4 driver. We will also be using the type 4 driver. Type 4 MySQL. Okay. So if you are installing Oracle, there will be a separate driver for Oracle. Okay. If you are installing Postgres, if you wanted to interact with Postgres SQL, there will be a separate driver for it as well. Then if you wanted to interact with MySQL server, you will have a separate driver for that as well. For MySQL also, there will be a separate driver. Okay, we will download this driver up, and then we will interact with this driver. Okay, so we'll integrate this driver into our Java application, and then we'll write an instructions, JDBC instructions, and then we will interact with the database. Okay, so to develop the Java JDBC application, we have standard 7 steps, guys. We have standard 7 steps. This is all theory on drivers. You can read it up afterwards. Okay. So then going back to the 7 steps, we have a 7 steps standard in every JDBC application. These 7 steps only will follow. Okay, to interact with the database. Okay. So what is the first step? So every JDBC package is part of this. JDBC API is part of these packages based. So in Java, that is java.sql package, javax.sql package. All JDBC classes and interfaces are part of these two packages, that is java.sql package and javax.sql package. Okay. So to interact with the database, we have 7 steps are there. These 7 steps I need to follow. Okay. So we'll follow it up accordingly. So first what I will be doing, I will go to the, I'll go here. Then what I'll be doing, I will type in Google Chrome, MySQL connector jar download. Since we have installed MySQL database, so what I'll be doing, I need to install that MySQL driver from the Google Chrome. So for that reason, I need to type MySQL connector jar download. And then like you can go to this site. There will be a site here, this download jar files with all dependencies. You can go to this site and then you will have okay, so MySQL. Then you have this MySQL connector here. Okay, you can download MySQL connector Java. This is also fine, 8.0.11. You can directly download it up. Okay, now it is showing file not found. Okay, so instead of integrating, what I can do, I can go with the Maven project. So I have the dependency already in my local system. Okay, so the jar files are not available here. So it's fine. We can directly go with the Maven project. First, I will discuss what is Maven. So what we can do means, like if I wanted to download any dependencies or jars from external sites, from third-party sites, if I download any dependencies or jars, what I should do means in a web project, I need to go here and I need to right click here and then I need to go to build path and configure build path. In configure build path, I need to add all the dependencies. Okay, in the libraries tab, click on this class path, you need to add external jars. All the external jars you need to add it. So I have that already, the jar file downloaded. Anyways, we'll go with the Maven project only from today only. Okay, so but now for now, what I'll be doing, I will create a Java project here. Normal core Java project I'm creating currently. Okay, normal core Java project I'm creating currently. So go to your file, new project. So I'll be creating a new project, that is JDBC app. Okay, JDBC app. So version I'll be putting it as 21 itself, and then I will create the project here. Okay, then click on next and then click on finish. Okay, so in JDBC app, I'll be creating one Java class, that is some main class I'll be creating. Okay, some main class I'll be creating. So inside this main class, I need to write 7 steps. Okay, so first I'll be writing a main method here. Okay, first I'll be writing a main method here. Then the first step is, what is the first step, guys, inside your JDBC? The first step is java.sql.star package. You need to import that java.sql.star package. So for that reason, I'll be writing here, import java.sql.star package. Okay. Then what you need to do, you need to load and restart the driver. You need to load the driver and restart the driver with your Java application. Okay, first thing, you need to load the driver. You need to restart the driver with your Java application. So how to load the driver? You need to create an instance of the driver object. Okay, driver D is equal to new driver. Okay, then you need to register the driver as well. So driver manager dot, you will be having one specific class that is driver manager. Okay, to register the driver manager dot register driver of D. Okay, see here, you'll be getting an error here. Cannot instantiate the type driver because you need to import the driver what you wanted to import as. You need to register what driver. Since you're going with the MySQL driver, so since you have installed MySQL database, you wanted to interact with the MySQL database, you need to go with the MySQL driver itself. If you wanted to go with the Oracle driver, if you installed Oracle database, you need to import Oracle driver itself. Okay. So since I have installed the driver of MySQL, so what is the driver package name is form.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver. Okay, this package you need to import, but this package will be coming from the driver jar. Since I have not integrated this jar, you'll be getting an error here. You'll be getting an error here. So what I can do, I need to import the jar here. I need to load the jar here. So for that reason, what you can do, you can click on this source or you can click on this project folder name. Okay, you can click on this project folder name. What you should do, I'll be sharing the jar in the GitHub link as well. You can directly download it from there. I have that in my system. You can directly download it from there. Okay. So what you can do, you can directly right click on your project name, then build a path. Okay, then build a path, configure build a path. Okay, now you need to go to your libraries tab. You need to go to your libraries tab, click on class path, add external jars. Add external jars. Now in my downloads, I have my jar, I guess. Okay. In my downloads, I have my jars. So MySQL connector. This jar, I'll be sharing it in the GitHub. You can directly go download it from there. Okay. So MySQL connector 9.2.0, it's fine. Okay. Then directly open. Then click on open. Then apply and close. Then what you'll be getting, you'll be getting one referential libraries tab here where you have imported your MySQL connector jar. Okay. So until this point clear. Until this point, am I clear? How to import your libraries? Yes, how to import your external libraries, external jar files basically. Until this point, am I clear? Yes, so you need to right click here, then build a path, configure build a path, then go to your libraries tab, click on class path, add external jars, and select your jar file and keep it up. Okay, this jar file I'll be sharing up in the GitHub link, directly download it from there. Okay, then apply and close. Clear until this point? Am I clear until this point? Yes. So first step is done, importing your MySQL java.sql.star package. Second step is also done, loading and registering the driver. So second step is also done, loading and registering the driver. Okay. Okay, so here it will ask you to handle the exception. So I can go with the try catch as well, or I can go with the throws keyword as well. Okay, you need to handle the SQL exception because this restart driver will throw SQL exception. So because of that reason, you need to handle the SQL exception as well. Then the first steps are done, like this step is also done. Okay, Then the next step is establishing the connection between the Java application and the database. Okay. So how to establish the connection between the Java application and database? You need to call again driver manager class itself. In driver manager class, we have all these methods. In this, you need to use get connection method. Okay, in this you need to use get connection method. This get connection method will ask you to use, will take three parameters, that is URL, username, password. Okay, URL, username, password. Okay, so what I'll be doing, I'll create three variables here. That is string URL. So if you can see, this URL is nothing but your database URL. Okay, so what I'll be doing, well, the database URL is so JDBC colon MySQL colon // since the since the database is in my local system itself, I'll go in with the localhost. Then the database port number, while you're installing also, the port number will come. The default port number is 33306. If you have not changed it, your local database MySQL database port number is. Then you have your database name. My database name is XLR projects. So that is only my database name, right? XLR projects. Okay. So underscore XLR projects. So this is a URL, guys. Like URL should be of this format itself. JDBC colon MySQL colon localhost colon 3306. JDBC is the main protocol. MySQL is a sub protocol. And then you have your port number, like IP address of your database. Since the database is installed in a local system, I'm going with the localhost. Then colon port number. Then / the database name you're using. Okay, the database name you are using. And then you need to give the URL as well, saying username as well, username of your database. So it is by default, it will be root. You can directly give the root. Okay, if you have changed it, that username only you should provide. Then password is my database password is root123. Okay, that I'm giving it. Your password, you need to give it up here. Okay. So 3306 is a port number actually. That is a default port if you have not changed for your MySQL. Okay, for your MySQL installation, while installation also it will ask you to choose your port. If you have not changed it, the default port, if you have installed it, the default port is 3306. Okay. Then what you can do, you need to create the statement object. The next step is getting the connection. So driver manager dot get connection. This get connection, what parameters you need to pass here now? URL, then username, then password. Okay, URL, username, and password. This will be giving you so this will return me connection interface. Okay, this will return me connection object basically. So that I'll be storing it up here. So this will be returning me connection object. Okay, after getting the connection, it will return me connection object. It will establish the connection between the Java application and the database. So this connection will be set up between Java application and database. The connection will be set up. The driver is also set up now. Okay, now what I need to do, I need to pass the query from Java application to database. Okay, I need to pass the query from Java application to database. For that, which object will be helpful, service, if you ask me? Statement object. Okay, for that, for passing the query, this is like a shipper where the road is set up where this statement vehicle will pass your query from Java application to database. Okay, so for that reason, I need to go with the for that reason, I need to create the statement object. Okay, so what I need to do, I need to use a connection reference, and there is like multiple methods are there inside the connection again. There are like multiple methods are there. Here I'll be going with the create statement method. Okay, create statement method. So there are like multiple overloaded methods are out there. The first method only I will choose it up, create statement. Okay. So then this statement will return me statement object. Okay, this statement will return me statement object. So that I will be returning. And then I need to send and execute the query. The vehicle is also created. I need to now say I need to provide the query. I need to execute the query as well. Okay. So for that reason, there were like couple of methods are there. Okay, I need to use a statement reference only. Statement dot execute. So if you can see here, execute method is there, execute large batch is also there, execute update is there, execute query is there. So execute, so I'll be writing up here. So execute query. Execute query method is for your select commands. Okay, is for your select commands. Whereas execute state method is for your DML commands, insert, update, delete. For your DML commands, this statement, this method you need to use for executing your DML commands. For executing your select command, you need to use execute query. And for executing both select and non-select commands, like you wanted, if you wanted to execute nested queries, you can go with this method, that is execute method. Okay, if you wanted to execute nested queries. Okay, now I wanted to just retrieve the data. So for that reason, I'll be going with the execute query method. Okay, so execute query method. Inside this execute method, this will take string parameter where you should pass your query. So I'll be passing the select query itself. So I'll be passing select star from student. Okay, that query I'll be passing it up directly. This will return me result set. So it is execute query. Okay, so this will return me result set. Okay, this will return me result set object. Okay, so result set means what? Means like in your database, how the data is there is how the data is there. It is there in the table format, right? It is there in the table format. So now what will happen is from your database, so it is there in the table format, and is there in the table format here. Okay, the data is present in the form of table format here. Okay, in your database, it is there in the table format. You are retrieving, you are reading it in your application. So you're reading it through result set object. Now what will happen is in result set object, the whole table will be coming and sitting up in your result set object. Okay, so this result set object will hold all your table. But in your console, you cannot print the table right directly. You cannot, it is not in UI to print directly the table. Yes. So for that reason, I need to retrieve each and every row from the table. Each and every row, each and every column I need to iterate. I need to print it up in my console. Okay. So for that reason, I need to, what I need to do, I need to process the result from result set. Okay. I need to process the result from result set. So in constant of time, I will just copy the code. Okay, so you need to just use this result set object. Result set dot next. Initially, in the table also, the pointer will be like your iterator. Yesterday we discussed about iterator, right? In the same way, the pointer will be pointing up here. You need to go through each and every row using next method. You need to go through each and every row to next method, and then you need to get it up each and every column. So for that reason only, what I am doing, while rs.next from the result set reference I'm using, I'm going with the next method. It will go to the next row. The first row it will go. Initially it will be the 0th row. You need to go to the first row, right? For that reason, I'm using the rs.next. While it is going there, I need to return it up. So what I should rs dot get int means it will return me that what is the data type of that column name you need to put it up, because based on the data type only you need to return. Okay, you need to get that method. Okay, if it is string, get string. If it is integer, the column is integer, then it is integer. If marks is also integer, right? So for that reason, I'm using the integer itself method. That method, that specific data type method based on the data, you need to choose it. Okay, so rs dot result set dot get int of marks, result set of get int of marks. Okay, student ID, student name, and marks. Then I'm printing it on the console. Okay, so now next, this step is done. Processing the result from result set is done. Then what I need to do, I need to close the connection object. I need to close the your statement object and result set objects. Okay, and result set objects. So it's a best practice, guys. Don't depend upon the garbage collector. It's a best practice to close by yourself. Okay, so what I need to do, I need to close the connection. Okay, I need to close your result set. Okay, result set dot close. Then I need to close your statement object as statement dot close. That all objects I need to close. So this is your JDBC code. So we can see here all the 7 steps I have followed. The first step is importing your java.sql star packet. The second step is loading and registering the driver. While loading and registering the driver, you need to import that driver as well inside your build path, inside your libraries. That MySQL connector jar file you need to include. And then you're establishing the connection, URL, username, password. And then you're creating the statement object. Then you're executing the query. Okay, you need to pass the query here. If you're going with the update command, you need to pass update command here. If you're going with the insert command, you need to pass insert command here. If you're going with the DML commands, you need to use which method? You need to use execute update method. Instead of execute query, you need to use execute update method. Then you need to retrieve each and every accordingly from column name. Instead of if you're not familiar with the column names, exact column names, you can also go with the 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, like that. This is also possible. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Column number 1, column number 2, column number 3. Like that also you can retrieve. But you need to definitely know what is the data type. If it is marks, integer. If it is string, if it is name, string. Like that, you need to remember data type. Based on that only you need to call the method. Then you'll be closing your objects as. Now if I run this program, run as Java application. So there is some mistake here. What is the mistake? Unknown database, XLR projects. Excel projects I have put it. XLR projects, right? So you need to be very cautious about your database name, guys. Otherwise, it will not run. About your table name as well while passing the query. Okay. Now, if you can see all the data that is there inside my database, that is being retrieved. Okay, all the data that is there inside my database is being retrieved. The same data is there, right? In my database also. In my database also, the same data is there that is being retrieved. So simple JDBC. So clear until this point? Yes, clear until this point. Am I clear until this point? These 7 steps. Any application you take, you take, the same 7 steps will apply. Okay, so the same 7 steps will apply. When we have to make changes in the table, we use execute updates. Yes, DML commands, basically insert, update, delete. If you wanted to use, you can go with the execute update method. You need to go with the execute update method, not execute query. Execute query is only for select commands. Okay. So now, like I am giving the first assignment for the day. I have done with this select command. You please do these 3 things, that is insert, update, delete commands. Okay, using execute update method. Okay, try doing this insert, update, delete commands after the class. Okay, perform CRUD operations using JDBC statement. This will be a first assignment for the day. Okay, so then this is your JDBC concept case. But the thing is, there is a problem with the JDBC code. there is a problem with the JDBC code. There are the disadvantage. There is a much disadvantage with the JDBC code. So what is the disadvantage means? So these all programs one see it up once after the session. Okay. So what is the problem means JDBC is not portable. JDBC is not, code is not portable. So you need to write the same 7 steps in every JDBC application. The same duplication you need to write. That's a developer burden, right? If you just for retrieving the select command, just for retrieving the data, you need to write 7 steps. If you wanted to retrieve some employee data, you need to write the same 7 steps. If you wanted to retrieve some vehicle data, you need to write the same 7 steps. So the duplication of code is happening. That is not Java. Duplication of code is not Java, right? So the same thing is happening. And all JDBC exceptions you need to handle. All are checked exceptions. You need to either go with try catch or either you need to go with the throws keyword. You need to handle it up. So the boilerplate code is coming and the same 7 steps you need to download and you need to know what each 7 step is doing. And you're not persisting the Java object as well. See, like while you are persisting the data, how you are retrieving, guys? How you are retrieving? You're retrieving while you are inserting the data as well. You're not. So Java is a hooks-oriented language. So everything you work with the data, you work with only classes and objects. I told you, classes and objects. But what is happening here? So you have created a student data. You have created a student data, but the thing is inside the student ID, name, and so inside the student object, suppose you have created a student object and inside the student ID, name, and marks were there, right? You wanted to store this in the database. But the thing is, what is happening with the JDBC means it will retrieve primitive values. This driver, what it will do means it will not directly persist the object directly, but what it will do means it will retrieve each and every value and it will put it inside the database. It will retrieve each and every primitive value, integer value, string value, integer value. It will read each and every value and put it on the database. So it is a time-consuming process. It is of low performance as well. Okay. So it will lead to low performance of your application as well. So you're not directly storing the object since Java is object-oriented programming, but what you're doing, you're persisting, you're storing your primitive values. That is a main disadvantage with the JDBC technology. So because of that reason only, Java people have think about it and they have gone with the framework or specification that is JPA. Okay, they have introduced one another specification that is JPA, which is nothing but Java Persistence API. So in this specification, what they have suggested means in this specification directly you can persist the object. Here in JDBC concept, what you are doing, you are persisting the primitive values, each and every primitive value. But here you can directly store the object. Suppose you wanted to store student S1 object, you can directly say one method that is save of S1. You need not to write the 7 steps again. You can directly with this method, you can directly persist the object. If you wanted to store another data, save of S2. Directly with one step, you can directly store the object. You need not to write 7 steps boilerplate code. So that can be implemented using the JPA specification. Okay, that can be implemented using the JPA specification. So in JPA specification, we have for JPA specification, they have provided there are multiple implementations for JPA specification. So we have different companies have different they have provided different implementations. We have Hibernate, we have Ibatis, we have TopLink. Okay, so there are multiple specifications for there again. So in these tools, Hibernate is popular. So why Hibernate is popular means in JDBC you need to persist each and every value. Each and every value you need to take it out from the object and you need to persist as a primitive value. So what is happening there? Object to primitive type conversion is happening. Object to primitive or referential type conversion is happening. So that you can ignore in the case of your Hibernate or inside your JPA specification. So don't confuse, guys. Here JPA is a specification, Hibernate is the implementation of. So many people will take that Hibernate as JPA only. They will think this JPA and Hibernate are same, but not same. This JPA is a formula, or this JPA is a documentation, or JPA is a specification. Rules are given in this. But whereas, or it is a technology. Whereas Hibernate is implementing the technology. So suppose AC is there. AC is a technology. How it is working? AC means like it will give the cooler, it will convert. Some technologies happen. Whereas this your Samsung company or your Godrej company or your LG company have provided the tools following that technology. Right? In the same way, JBA is a technology where Hibernate and Hibernate are provided by the companies for the implementation. Right? So this is nothing but your Hibernate where we can persist the object. Okay, so don't worry about attendance, guys. Like it will be provided by 850. Okay, it will be provided by the 850. Don't worry about that attendance. Just concentrate on the concept. These are very important in industry standard. Okay, so in every interview, any Java interview you go or any Java interview you see, these are the most important concepts I'm discussing here. So please concentrate. Okay, so I'm discussing why JPA came or why Hibernate came also. I'm discussing the existing technology that is there, and I'm discussing the new technology that has came because of the disadvantages of the existing technology as well. So please concentrate. Okay. So basically, this Hibernate or this JPA, I can consider it as framework as well because all the steps are ready-made where I can use it up directly. With one step, with one save method, I can insert the data. With one fetch method, I can fetch the data. I can select the data. So like that, with just using one method, I can do all those things magic, right? So in backend, again, this Hibernate will also go with the JDBC technology unit will implement, but we need not to write those 7 steps. This Hibernate will only write those 7 steps. We'll just need to call one method that is save method, right? So what I will be doing, like I will show the code of the Hibernate directly. So basically in Hibernate, first you need to define a model for which you need to parse the data. So here what I have done in JDBC, I have created the table by myself, right? I've created the table by myself in the database. The student table I have created by myself in the database, right? Using query. I did not create that using the JDBC, right? Using the JDBC, I did not create, I created by myself. But in Hibernate, you can directly, you need to define one entity class you need to define. Okay, that entity class is also called as model class. Okay, so that entity class you need to define, and suppose your student is the entity class, the student table you wanted to create. Directly can create the student table, and you can directly create the table inside your database using this entity class. So you need not to create the table from the database. You need not to go to your database. You need not to open your MySQL. Directly, creation of database is okay. So you need not to create the table. You need not to go to your database to create the table. Directly, once you create one database, create database XLR projects, that's enough. And you can directly create all the tables, retrieving the data, creating table, all the CRUD operations. You can directly perform it directly from your Java application that is used by Hibernate. Okay. So to work with Hibernate, I need one entity class. So these all things are needed. So basically, I need a model class or entity class. I need mapping code as well. So basically what I'll be doing, suppose if I wanted to create a student table, okay. So how I have created, I will write the student table here. So instead of employee table, what I'll be doing, I'll go with the student table. Okay, create student table. Then I have created the student ID, right? So I will write it up from starting. Okay, so I need to write a class. Okay, I need to write a class that is entity class. So if you wanted to persist the same table name as a student, same class name as a student name, as a table name. So you need to define it as entity. Okay, you need to define it as entity. You can also change the table name. Suppose I don't want to persist it as I don't want to create the table as student. I wanted to create like this. Okay, I wanted to So I wanted to create like this. Okay, so here it is name. Okay, like that you can create. Okay, so student table. The table name is equal to student table, like that. If you wanted to change the name only, you need a table annotation. Directly with annotations, we will communicate with the database. So if there is a table, in the sense, if you wanted to change the column, like change the table name only, you need to use a table name. And then I can use, I can define my columns actually. So I can define my ID column. Okay, I can define the string student name. I can define the marks. Okay, I can define the marks as well. This I have represented as primary key, right? For that reason, how I can define here, I can go with the ID attribute, ID annotation. Okay, this represents this ID as a primary. Suppose if you wanted to change the column name, you can go with the column annotation, column annotation. Okay, column name is equal to. Okay, you need to write. You can write. You can give your optional column. So if you're not writing, this is optional, guys. This columns, the red column annotation is optional. If you're not writing, it will consider it as the column name as ID. If you're writing this, the column name will consider as student ID, student underscore ID. Okay. Then you can define for the other columns as well if you want. Otherwise, it will take it as name marks itself. So clear with this. Directly what it will do means, since you have defined it as entity, this Hibernate what it will do means, so it will directly consider it as an entity annotation, consider it as a table. So directly it will create the table for you, the student table for you, and it will create the columns for you, like ID, name, and marks. Since you have defined it, the red column annotation, it will create with the student underscore ID. And for this also you have changed it, right? So it will create with the student underscore table. Okay. So this is the entity. Directly you need to have an entity class, and then you need to write a mapping file, either using XML you can write it up, or either using this entity annotation also you can write it up. Okay, so you need to have your mapping file. Mapping file is not needed when you're going with the annotations. Okay, then you will have a configuration file. In the configuration file, you need to set it up all these things. Driver class name. So you need to go with the XML file here. Okay, to interact with Hibernate container, you require XML file. In the XML file, you'll be going with this Hibernate configuration tag, opening tag, closing tag. XML is like HTML itself, but the thing is you can write your user-defined tags as well. Okay, to communicate with the containers, basically to communicate with the frameworks, we definitely require the XML configuration. Okay, so for that reason, I'm writing XML. I created XML file, and in this we'll have a tags, Hibernate configuration opening tag, Hibernate configuration closing tag. In this, we'll have our first property, that is connection driver class name. I need to provide the driver class name. If you're using MySQL driver, you need to pass your MySQL driver name, Oracle driver name, and then URL. Okay, then username. Like that, property wise, you need to define. Okay, then connection pool size, like how many objects you want, how many connection objects you want. You can specify it. So if you're specifying it as 1, it will create one connection pool. In one connection pool, there will be 10 connection objects will be automatically created. Okay, 10 connection objects will be automatically created. So we will have class tomorrow, like it will be shared by 8:50. Okay, please stay patient. Please listen to the concept. These are important. So we'll have that doubts being cleared by 8:50. Okay, so please be patient until. Okay. So connection pool in the sense, like in JDBC, what is happening means, so you are creating your object by you're creating the connection object by yourself, and once the task is done, you're closing that object as well. You're destroying the object as well. Again, suppose I wanted to execute the other insert command. What I need to do, I need to definitely get the connection object again. I need to definitely write this line to get the connection object. I need to again close the object once it is done. So what is happening here? You're using the object, you're destroying the object, right? So for every user, you need to again create the object, again destroy the object, means that will be overburdened, right? So for that reason, what will happen means this Hibernate will be providing will be providing one connection pool. Will be providing one connection pool between the database. So it will create multiple connection objects. Suppose you're logging in from mobile. You're logging in from mobile to this database. Then it will give you connection object. Again, you are logging in at the same time from laptop. You can reuse the same connection object. Suppose the other user is coming. Now the user one is coming. He wanted to interact with the database at the same time. But in the case of JDBC, you need to again create the object and again you will destroy the object. That is a performance issue. When the user comes on, you will create the object, you will destroy the object. But here, you can reuse, you can give this object to him. And then if suppose the third user is coming, this work is done. Like this mobile user work is done, interacting with the database is done, he has closed the application. In that case, you will not destroy the object. Once your work is done, you will not destroy the object. You will reuse that object to the another user. You will reuse that object to the another user. Means you can reuse the objects. You can reuse the connection objects in the case of your connection pooling concept. Multiple times, like multiple users can use. So basically, one connection pool, in one connection pool, there will be a predefined objects will be created like initially when the container is established only. So like 10 objects will be created, minimum 10 objects will be created. Then if it is two connection pools you're creating, then 20 objects will be created. Then these 20 objects can be reused by how many users you want, that many users can interact at the same time. In the case of your multi-threading, multiple users can log in at the same time, right? So in that case, this will be useful. Okay, this connection objects will be useful. Okay, so that is nothing but your connection pooling concept. Okay, so if you can see here I'm defining the connection pool. The property also I'm defining up here, and then I need not to write the query from now on. I will directly use one save method, and who will generate the query means Hibernate will only generate that query. For that reason, I need to write the dialect here. So dialect in the sense you want Oracle based query or MySQL based query. So syntax may differ, right? So because of that reason, I need to use this dialect. Okay. Then if you wanted to show the query in the console, you can also go with the show SQL as true. Then format also you can do it as. These two are optional, guys. If you wanted to show those query, what it is executing in the backend in the console, you can go with these two properties. Okay, but these properties are must and should. Okay, these properties are must and should needed in your hibernate.cfg.xml file. Okay, definitely the file name should be like this only. Otherwise, again, you need to use file input stream and file output stream concept to read the properties and to work with this. Okay, so this is your hibernate.configuration file, and then we have like 4 properties. This property is also needed. So 4 properties are by default. The Hibernate will be validate. It will execute means programmer only should create the table. Programmer only should create the table. If you wanted to Hibernate to create the table, you can go with the create property here. So here Hibernate will create the table. If it is exists, if the table is not existed, it will create the table. Or else the table is already existed, it will use the same table. Okay. So basically, it will create a new table always. To create a new table always, then update will reuse the table. The table is already there, it will reuse the same table. Otherwise, it will create the new table. These 2 properties you need to mention here using this property hibernate.hbm.2ddl.auto. Okay, using these 2 properties, you can mention that. And then create drop means it will delete the table once your task is done. Okay, once you're running and once you stop with that program, it will delete the table automatically. So either of these properties, you can mention it up here. Either validate or create or update or creator. Okay, these things you can do it. Okay, so this is nothing but your XML file where you will mentioning your Hibernate properties. In JDBC, you have mentioned directly there itself, right, in the program itself. Here you will have a specific XML file for it. And then you have your code of your Hibernate. In the Hibernate, you will be creating one configuration object. Okay, that configuration object only. That configuration object will be reading all the properties from your hibernate.cfg.xml file, and then you need to build the session factory. In this session factory only, all the methods will be there to work with the database. Okay, then you will be opening up the session. Then you will open up the session. And then if you wanted to persist the object, you need to begin the transaction using the session reference. Okay, you will be called the begin session method. And then you will be setting up all the values. So you create the object and you'll set up all the values. And then you can directly persist the object using save method, session.save method. You will give this reference. Directly the whole object, you need not to write the insert query. Directly the Hibernate only will be generating the insert query in the backend. So once it is committed, all the data will be inserted. This data, 10, Sachin and 5, these things will be inserted into the database. Then you will commit the transaction. Once you are committed only, this data will be inserted. How many objects you wanted to insert, like that, you can create the object. You need to create session.save of employee, session.save of employee 1, session.save of employee 2. Like that, you can create it. Okay. So then you will be closing up the session also. Okay. These steps you need to follow inside your Hibernate. Okay. So for this Hibernate, again, you need Hibernate jars. You need to put it up instead of, you need to put the MySQL driver as well. And you need to put up the Hibernate jars as well. The jars all I will be providing in the GitHub link in the build path. Please include those jars while working out with this program. Okay, I will also share this program demo in the GitHub link. Okay, so what is happening, guys? Well, you are observing, right? So you are observing, right? Like instead of save method, like before I used to write the query, I need to, in the JDBC, I have written the query and I'm talking with the database. But now the database, the Hibernate will only generate the query and will save in the database. So we just one method. Okay, so this is nothing but your Hibernate. But the thing is, in Hibernate also there is a problem here. In every Hibernate code, you need to follow these steps. You need to create the session factory, you need to build the session, you need to open up the transaction. These all things are needed. So that can also be a burden to the developer. Again, the duplication, again, the boilerplate code is coming here. So because of that reason, Spring Data JPA has come into picture. We'll discuss the Spring Data JPA in the next class. So Spring Data JPA has come into picture. In Spring Data JPA, we'll use only one command, that is save or fetch or something, and we'll directly persist the database. We'll not write these steps also. We'll not write these steps as well. In the case of your Spring Data JPA. Okay, that we'll discuss in the next class. Okay, so this is nothing but your database interaction. So can I get a quick heads up, like if you're clear with the database interaction code? If you're clear with these concepts at least, so that you can refer the code and you can directly do that up. Yes. Yes, clear. Okay. So what I will be doing in the next one. So like project idea, if you wanted to do, like you can create some employee database or some products database. So products database you can create and you can retrieve the CRUD app. You can do the CRUD app using Hibernate. You can you do it first using CRUD app using JDBC. You can direct for practice, I'm telling this, and you can also do it with the Hibernate as well. You can do these steps actually. Okay, you can create one employee DB or products DB, and you can directly persist the data. You can insert the data, you can read the data, you can delete the data, you can update the data using the JDBC and Hibernate. Okay, so that assignment also I will add it up here. You can practice it up like that by observing this code. Okay, using JDBC statement and Hibernate. Okay, perform the CRUD operations accordingly. Okay, then now today what we'll be doing, like next concept for the day, we are jumping into the web application part. We are done with the database part as well. Now today we are jumping into the web application part. So can I get a quick heads up? What is a web application? What is a web application? So this will be too interesting, guys. Like from now on, this will be too interesting because we are going to create, until now we are done with the only console based applications. We are jumping into web applications currently. So we'll directly now interact with the server. We'll deploy the code in the server, and we'll interact with the server. We'll interact the front end with the server. Now the actual part will start. Yes. So what is a web application? What is a web application? What is a web application? In the first session I have discussed, right? So you'll have a server here. You'll have a server here. The code will be deployed inside the server. Okay, your Java application will be deployed inside the server. And then from the client, from your front end, you'll be sending the request to the server. Then you'll be getting the response. So that is nothing but your request response, right? So from client, this client, I can call it as browser. From the browser, you'll be opening some app. You'll be wanted to click some mobiles. You will be sending the request to the server, and then the server will process that request, what you want. It will execute the business logic. In the meantime, it will also interact with the database using Hibernate or Spring Data JP or JDBC. And it will return the data, and then it will return the response, and you'll be able to see the things on the browser, right? So this is nothing but your client server architecture, right? So client and your server and your DB, right? And your DB. So basically, to interact with the data, to create a web application in Java, we have a specific technology that is servlets technology. Okay, to create server-based applications, okay, server-based applications or web applications in the backend, we have a technology that is servlets. Okay, whatever request you are passing to the server, or whatever response you are getting to the server because of the servlets, you will create a servlet program, and whatever request you wanted to pass, you'll be sending it to the servlet. That will be sent to the servlet only. This servlets only will deploy on the server. The servlet code only you will deploy on the server, and whatever request you are getting, whatever request will be sent to the server will be processed to the servlet itself, and you'll be getting back from the servlet itself. Okay, so to develop a web application or to develop server-based applications, you need to have this servlet technology inside your Java system. Okay, so what is servlets, guys? What is servlets? Servlets is a technology which is used to create your website or web application in Java, right? So basically, this servlets is an API. This servlets is again an API and a library. Okay, this is a third-party API. This is not there inside your JDK. You need to import the servlet jar files to work with servlets. Okay, along with the JDK, you need servlet jar files as well to work with the servlets. Okay, this servlets is an API. So inside these jars, this servlet does not have a main method. Okay, this servlet will not have a main method. Okay, the total core Java project. What is the core Java project structure? So you'll have a source folder. You'll just have referential libraries for third-party libraries. You will have your JDK library, right? But in the case of your servlet, the total folder structure will be different. The total folder structure will be different because you are creating a web application here. You're creating a web application here. So to work with these servlets, two things are needed. You require a server in your system. So I will be going with the Tomcat server. I will install Tomcat server in my system. Okay. Then I require servlet jars as well. Okay. Servlet jars as well. Okay. So these two things are needed. And I need to create now. Until now, what I have created a web app, right? From now on, I have created a core Java app, right? Java project basically. From now on, I'll be creating a web project or web app. Okay, from now on, I'll be creating in my Eclipse, I'll be creating a web project. Okay, so let me go here into my Eclipse. Go to file here, new, go to other here. Okay, new, go to other here, choose dynamic web project. Choose dynamic web project. Okay, one moment, please. Am I audible? Yes. So what you can do, like you need to go to File, go to New, go to Other, and then choose Dynamic Web Project. Don't create Java project from now on. Create Dynamic Web Project. And once you click on this, like I'm creating one Servlet app here. Okay, normal Servlet app I'm creating. Okay, basic Servlet app. Then you need to choose your runtime here, what server you wanted to install. Okay, you need to choose your server here. So basically, for me, since the server is there in my system, it is showing to select the server automatically, Apache Tomcat 10.1. For you, it will not be showing like this. Then what you need to do, it will be showing one option here, download. What I will do, I will delete this and I will show you up. New runtime. Okay, for this tab will be showing this, like you see here, this Apache tab will be showing for you. Okay, so multiple, select the runtime environment, Apache. Like that, this tab will be showing for you. Okay, you need to select Apache Tomcat 1 and then just download it up. Like inside Eclipse itself, you can download it up. Okay, then click on finish. Then it will be automatically applying here inside your Tomcat 1. Okay, just choose that Tomcat 10.1. Okay, then until this point, clear guys, how to download the server. Just select Apache, just select Tomcat 10.1, then download and install you will be getting. Just download it up. If it is not there inside your local system, just download it up from your Eclipse itself and then select that server, and then go here, click on next. Go here, click on next, click on finish. Click on finish. Okay, it will be asking to open this perspective. Since until now my Eclipse is in core Java perspective, console based perspective. Now it will ask you to server based perspective, Java W perspective. Open that perspective, open that window. Okay. So now if you can see, the Servlet app is created. And if you observe the folder structure here, the folder structure will be totally different when you compare to your normal core Java app. So inside your core Java app, you will have your library, source, referential libraries. But inside your Servlet web project, the folder structure will be totally different because here we have a Servlet container. Okay. So what will happen means, like you will have your Java resources folder here. Inside the Java resources, you will have your source main Java. So here you need to create all the Servlet classes. Okay, all your Java classes you should be creating inside this folder, and then you have your libraries. So by default, you'll have your Tomcat libraries. Along with that, you can add all the other libraries as well. Now you'll be adding same build path, configure build path, add libraries, add external jars. Okay. Then here you will have your source folder here. Inside the source folder, you have two folders, Java folder and web app folder. In this web app folder, you need to create your web.xml file. Okay, in this web app folder only, you need to create your web.xml file. Then this web.inf folder is nothing but where if you wanted to add libraries, or like if you wanted to add HTML files, okay, HTML files or JSP files, the front end files, you need to paste it up here inside this folder. Okay, XML file along with these two folders are important, guys, like source main Java along with the web.inf folder. Along with metadata, if you wanted to paste anything, you can put it up inside this meta.inf folder. But this web app folder is so important. In this web app folder only, you'll be placing your web.xml file along with the HTML or JSP files. Okay, so clear until this point. Clear until this point with the folder structure. Yes. So basically, the Servlet will not have a main method here. Will not have a main method here because for Servlet there will be a different container. Okay, it will not be executing on the JVM container, JVM virtual machine. It will be executing on the Servlet container. So whatever program you are writing, that this Servlet container is present inside your server only, your Tomcat server. So basically, this Servlet container will be present inside your Tomcat itself. Okay. So whatever program you are writing, whatever .Servlet program you're writing, a .Java program you are writing, this Servlet will not contain a main method. So what will happen means you need to provide inputs accordingly to this container. So which servlet it should execute, which URL means which servlet you need to execute. That inputs you need to provide. That inputs will be providing through XML configuration. That inputs will be providing through XML configuration. You need to create one web.xml file. In that web.xml file, you will be providing the configuration file. Okay. Then you'll be writing the servlet code inside your Java class. And then which servlet should call, you'll be providing the input. Then the container will execute this program. Container will execute the servlet program accordingly, and then you'll be able to see it on the screen, the UI on the screen like this. Okay, so like that you need to execute the servlet program basically. So basically there are like three important basically there were like three lifecycle methods inside a servlet. So three lifecycle methods, these are most important. Okay, so first one is init method. Okay, init method. Then we have a service method. Then we have a destroy method. Okay, init method, service method, destroy method. So init method, while the servlet is getting first request, while the servlet is getting the servlet container or your servlet is getting the first request, this method will be initialized, and whatever code that is there inside this method will be executed. Then from the second request that you are doing to the servlet, in the second request, this method will be executed. That is service method. From the second request onwards, this code will be executed. Okay, from the second request onwards. Okay, then we have the destroy method when the servlet is undeployed and when the server is stopped. In that case, this method will be undeployed. Means when it is when the servlet is removed from the container, or when it is undeployed, this method will be executed. This destroy method will be executed. Okay, so there are like three lifecycle methods are there: init, service, destroy. Okay, in servlet library as well, whatever code, like servlet will not have a main method. I have told you, right? Servlet will not have a main method. I have told you. So then how to write a normal Java program as a servlet? We will save it with .java extension only. We will be writing Java code only. But the thing is how to behave it as a normal Java program, from normal Java program to servlet program. How I should differ it? How I should differ means I need to extend or implement the servlet interface. Okay, I need to extend or implement the servlet interface. Basically, I need to extend the servlet. Okay, I need to implement the servlet class. Okay, then this servlet class, there are like three types of classes over there. In servlet class, like we have all these lifecycle methods along with the servlet config and servlet contest in the library of your servlet class. And then we have our generic servlet. Okay, generic servlet, which is a subclass of your servlet, where only service method is an abstract method. This is an abstract method actually, abstract class actually. Okay, this is a concrete class itself, but this is an abstract class. Okay, here where this is an interface. Whereas this is an abstract class. So in this class, where only service method is defined as implementation method, where they have given body for init and destroy. Then we have a specific method that is HTTP protocol, right? Everything that we are communicating over the internet will communicate using this HTTP protocol protocol only. So in this HTTP protocol, we have specific methods for there. Like if you know, there were like HTTP methods for there, right? Get, post, then put. Yes, these are the most majorly used methods. What is get, guys? What is get? So if you can see here, I'm getting all the students using this request. Means it is retrieving all the data from the database. Right? Means for reading all the data or getting all the data, for that I need to go with the get request. For storing or saving. So you will have your sign up form, and when you click on submit, that is nothing but your post request. That is nothing but your post request. Okay, that is nothing but your post request. where I'll be saving into the database or storing something into a database. I'll do some changes to the server. I will store it in the server. That is nothing but post request. When you're going with update, request, when you wanted to update something, the data, you can go with the put request. Then we have the delete request as well. Okay. So these are nothing but your HTTP protocol requests. Okay. So basically HTTP servlet. In the case of HTTP servlet, we have HTTP request based specific methods are there. That is do get, and we have our do post as well. Okay, this service method only is segregated into two methods, that is do get and do post. Okay, so now what I'll be doing, I will create a class inside your Java application. I will create a class, new class. So where you need to create inside your source main Java. Inside your source main Java, you need to create a new class. Okay, here in this class, I will create some main class only, main servlet. Okay, then this main servlet should extend which servlet? Should extend HTTP servlet. Okay, should extend HTTP servlet. Once you have imported your server, this library will also come. Okay, then we have our init method. When init method will be called, when the servlet, when you are getting the first request, we have the init method. So sysout servlet is initialized. Okay, then we have our do get method. I will go with the do get method itself. Okay, we have our do get method. Then we have the destroy method. Then we have the destroy method. Like I'll be writing something. Sysout of servlet is destroyed. Servlet is destroyed. Okay. Servlet is destroyed. So here, this do get method will have request and response. So whatever you are giving the request, suppose I want mobiles, I want student. So see here, in this application also, you're giving the request as like this. When I click on add new student, it will give it as add. That is the request you're passing. When you're clicking on submit, everything will be written through request itself, right? So that request data will be passed here. Whatever request you're passing, that will be held in this object. And we have a response object. Whatever you wanted to send it to the client, then you can use the response object. Okay. So what I wanted to do, like okay, I'll be using the response object, response. So response object, response dot get writer. Okay, this get writer will be giving me print writer. Okay, this get writer will be giving me print writer reference. Okay, so I will mention it as print writer. Okay, print writer PW to print it on the screen. To whatever you wanted to print it on the screen, you can print it up. Then PW dot println. Okay, then I wanted to print something on the screen. Like I'll be print on the screen. The browser understands only HTML, right? So for that reason, I'm going with the HTML here. HTML itself. Okay. That HTML code as well. Okay. Okay. So that I am pasting it. Body, and then BG color is equal to blue. Then welcome to sounds. Okay. Now the destroy method also have written. Now this is fine, but now I need to go with the I need to also write the XML file for this. So what servlet should be called? It doesn't have a main method, right? So I need to definitely tell to the container which servlet should you when some request has come or when some URL has come. For that reason, what I should do, I need to write my XML file as well. So for that reason, what I'll be doing, new other XML. Okay, so XML file. In the web.inf folder, you need to create your XML file as web.xml. Okay, web.xml. So inside the XML file, you can go to the source here. You can go to the source here, new file other, and create one XML file inside your web.inf folder. Okay, inside your web.inf folder, and then I'll be copying it up, the things up. Okay. So you'll have your web app main tag, you'll have your web app main tag, and you will have your servlet tag and servlet mapping tag. Okay, so basically, first the container will be coming to the URL pattern. Once you have given this URL pattern as /main, once you have given, it will fetch the servlet name. So then it will go to the servlet tag and it will search for the name as well. There will be multiple servlets in your mission, right? So based on that, so it will predict. So it should match. This name should match here. The name of your servlet name and servlet name here also in the servlet mapping tag should match. And then it will return. It will give me the servlet app.main. So my class name is not servlet app.main. It is in the default package. So if you can see here, the source main Java, it is in the default package and it is main servlet. So there is no package created. You need to give, if the package is created, you need to give the full qualified name. Okay, suppose the package name is com.abc. You need to give com.abc.main servlet. Okay, the class name as well. Then only you're able to get that. Okay, so now this is fine. You should give the URL pattern. With this URL pattern only, you need to call the servlet, and based on the name of the things should match. And then based on that, it will execute this main servlet. It will come here. It will come to this class. It will load up this class, and then it will execute this first init method. Then the servlet is initialized for the first request. This will be printed on the screen, and then it will execute the doGet method as well. It will print it on the screen, this text as well. And then when the servlet is stopped, it will print this statement. It will execute this method and it will only print this statement. Okay, let me execute this. Just go here, let's click on your project and run on server. Run on server. You'll get this tab, save 2 of 2, and then save. Then click on your server, select your server, then click on next. So here, student management app, I'm removing it from now. So you have your configured applications. So in your server, what applications are configured, that will be shown. That will be shown. Okay, that will be shown. Then click on finish. Then click on finish. So now if you can see on the screen, now go to your Google Chrome. Now go to your Google Chrome, open up your tab, and my Tomcat server will run on localhost colon, IP address of your localhost colon 8080. Then your project name. You need to type your project name as well. And then my URL pattern is what, guys? My URL pattern is, it is /main. Okay, it is /main. I need to give the same /. Now, if you can see, it is printing on the screen. Welcome to servlets. So, like that, you can create the basic servlet-based application. Okay, so clear with these things, how it is working. So what is happening? The container, the servlet container, initially, once you have given this URL pattern. So see, I've given URL pattern as main1. It is not coming. It is telling students servlet app main1 is not available because I have not created the URL pattern with main1. If I have created, it would have come. So what you need to do? Suppose I have written another time this servlet mapping with main1. And then I will again redeploy it, again run this up. So servlet app, run on server. Then again, I will start up the server. Then again, I will finish it up. Okay, restart server. For every change, you need to restart the server, guys. For every change, you need to restart the server. Okay, so see here, the server is running. So see, all these things are coming. And if you see the console also, all these things are coming. And for the first request, after the first request, you see, now I'm clicking on main. I'm giving main. See, it is telling welcome to servlets. And if you can see on the screen, servlet is initialized. How it is printing that servlet is initialized? Because in the main servlet, you have the init method that is being executed. In the init method that is being executed, and then it is executing the doGet method as well. Then I have created the URL pattern for main1 as well. For main1 as well. Now, if you can see, for main will also work. And if I click on main1, now you see main1 will also work. Main1 will also work. But main2, if you type, or some XLR if you type, you will not get it. You will not get it because the URL pattern is only you have set it up. This configured URL patterns are only main and main one, and the configured servlet is this one. So based on the XML file, it will go on executing. So clear until this point? Am I clear until this point? Am I clear until this point? Can I get a quick response? Am I clear until this point? Your servlet execution. So for the next 2 minutes, quickly I will explain the student management app code as well. Okay, the same servlet code is only written. There will be a couple of servlets that were written here. Okay, so if you can see for the next 2 minutes, please concentrate. So this is your student management app. Okay, so in this student management app, I have the Java resources here. The source main Java. I have created 3 packages here based on the MEC pattern. I will explain the MEC pattern in the next class. Okay, so there is one model class that is created. There is a student class, like model class in the sense you can consider it as an entity class. Okay, so there are like getters, student ID, student name, marks and skill. Okay, I will stop that previous servlet and I will run this app. Okay, you can click on the project and you can click on run as run on server in your Eclipse. Then it will be, then you can select your server and then click on next. Then you can remove this up and then click on finish. Okay, then it will be running. Okay, so the main fields I have taken is student ID, student name, marks and skill, and I have a constructor. I have a parameters constructor, and then I have a getters and setters. Okay, accordingly. Then I have a getters and setters accordingly. And then inside my model, inside my DAO, I have written the JDBC code. Basically, I have written the JDBC code. All this of JDBC code. So here I have used a prepare statement. This is also same like your statement only, but like I'll be writing the query at the during the creation itself. During the creation itself, I pass the queries. So instead of statement, I have used the prepare statement here. Okay, for performance, for increasing the performance of my application, I have used a prepare statement. The whole thing, the whole JDBC code will be same. So this is your JDBC code. Okay. This whole things are JDBC code. You can observe this code. And then we have our servlet. One servlet I have created, that is student servlet. Okay, student servlet. So when I am writing text, so when I am going to the student portal, this you can remove it up since I have used WebXML. This is not needed actually. Okay. So instead of XML, I can also go with the annotation approach. Like if I go with the text, like this annotation, this URL pattern, this servlet will be executed. This servlet will be executed. And then I have the init method. I have the doPost method. DoPost method, why I have used the doPost method basically. So I need to add the student, right? When I click on something, when I click on submit, I need to save it into a database. I need to retrieve it from the database as well. So for that reason, for saving into database, I've used the doPost method. I've used the same doGet method. Okay, in the doGet method, when I go with the new, when I go with the new URL, I've called show new form method. When I use the insert URL, when I go with the insert URL, insert student method will be executed. Delete student method, show edit form. See, the URL is changing. When I click on add new student, see, the URL is coming to new. When I click on edit student, the URL is edit, like you have your query parameters, $ID is equal to 10. So that particular ID will be generated. When I click on delete, the delete URL will be generated. So like that, I have created multiple URLs here. And then based on the URL, specific method will be called. So for that reason, I have created all these methods. The same JDBC code I have used for getting the parameters. Like I'll give clear explanation on the next class of this code as well if you want. So these all things to get the request.get parameter. Basically, what it will do means it will give you what your like request.get name means what you are entering. It will return. It will store basically. This will be returning this. In this place, I can store all these things. Adding student, getting student. So once observe this code, Once observe this code, you'll get a clarity. Okay, then I have created JSP files as well. These JSP files are like your HTML files only. So like the Java code, I can represent the JSP files. Okay, like your HTML files only. Like inside your HTML, I am including HTML. Inside your Java code only, I'm including HTML code. That is only nothing but your JSP files. So once observe these JSP files as well, you'll get a more clarity. Once I explain that HTML code, you'll get a more clarity on this. Okay, these things I have included inside your web app folder. Okay, update student as well as delete student as well. Okay, so once observe this code, if you have understood this code, if you have gone through this, and if you have understood this code, try to do the second assignment for the day. That is, develop library management system using servlets and JSP by observing this. By observing the student management code, this code will be readily available on the GitHub. So observe this code and try to do library management system code using servlets and JSP. Okay, by following the same student management system. Instead of that, you will have your different fields like library, book ID, book name, like book price. The fields will differ, but the same code will apply. You can directly do this code as well. Is the assignment too. Since like this is a weekend, you can do this code. You can practice more. So because of that reason, you do this assignment as well. And then the assignment 3 is practice binary search and sorting algorithms as well. Okay, so binary search, you know, right? Suppose there are an array of elements. Suppose I'm giving 21 or something. You need to give the output as 21 is present or not present. Like, you know, the sorting as well, right? It's like sorting a different type of elements. So if you are going through these algorithms once, then I will be providing some lead code problems on the next class based on this, so that you can do those problems as well in the next assignment. Okay, so these were the 3 assignments that I have given for the day. Okay. So on that note, I'm done with today's agenda. That is your JDBC, Hibernate, and servlets. Okay, and more I will discuss on JSP, and then I will jump into Spring, and then I'll jump into the e-commerce project. So from the next class, in the next session, I will create an e-commerce project. Okay, like a Flipkart kind of project I will create. Okay, like a Flipkart kind of project I will create in the next class using Spring and Spring Boot. Using Spring and Spring Boot, I will create this project using MVC industry design pattern. Okay, MVC design pattern, MVC industry design pattern. I will create this project in the next class. In one session, I will create this project practically. Okay, so on that note, I'm done with the day. I'm done for the day. If there are any questions, I'll be staying for the next 1 minute. If not, they will also interact with the AML websites, AML API links as well, REST APIs as well. That also I'll be showing it up while we are connecting front end and back end. Okay, so can we get the notes? I will be sharing the notes in the GitHub link. So directly you can get it out from there. Okay, you have the GitHub link, right? I suppose you have the GitHub link. Again, I will be sharing the GitHub link as well. If you're not having that, you can get it out from there. Okay, I'll be sharing this code. I'll be pushing this code inside your GitHub. Okay, any other questions, guys? Are we good? Can we wind up the session? Yes, can I get a quick answer? So all the notes will be available inside the GitHub. You can directly go there and fetch the code, and you can practice the code. You can do the assignments for the day as well, and we'll meet up in the next session. So on that note, thank you so much, guys, for listening all this time. So thank you, and have a good weekend, and good night, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. As we all know, tomorrow and day after tomorrow, like Saturday and Sunday, we don't have a session. We are again meeting on Monday at 7 p.m. So students, so many are asking like tomorrow we have a session or not. So I hope you all clear. Tomorrow we don't have any session. I mean tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Saturday and Sunday we don't have a session. Okay, yeah, thank you all. Thank you for joining.